You will drive 20 minutes out of your way to save $3 on gas, but then spend $60 on something completely random, something niche, something specific to you without thinking twice. You check the menu prices before you agree to go to the restaurant. You sit with the delivery fee for longer than you should. You close the app. You reopen it. You close it again. You just make your own food. But somehow last month, you bought that one thing, the one, and you did not even blink. That is the part nobody talks about. Because the usual explanation that frugal people are careful, disciplined, financially responsible does not explain you, not fully. Because you are not consistent, and that inconsistency is the most honest thing about you. You hold onto electronics that stopped working 2 years ago. You keep the charger for a phone you no longer own. You have bags inside of bags just in case. But you will spend real money on something that feels important to you without needing to justify it to anyone. You open your banking app when nothing has changed since the last time you opened it. You mentally calculate what an emergency would cost, not because one is coming, but because your brain will not stop drafting the scenario. You feel a strange, physical discomfort after spending money on something enjoyable, like a small wrongness in your chest, like you did something slightly irresponsible, even when you clearly did not. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a quiet thought keeps forming. This is not really about money, is it? Here is what most people get wrong about frugal people. They assume it is about accumulation, about wanting more, about greed or fear of poverty or some rigid relationship with discipline. But that is not it. You are not trying to become wealthy. You are trying to make sure you are never helpless. Those are completely different things, and the difference matters enormously. Somewhere along the way, your brain made a quiet decision. It decided that money is not just currency. It is options. It is the thing that stands between you and being completely at someone else's mercy, between you and a situation you cannot exit. Every dollar saved is not a number going up. It is a door that stays unlocked. It is a backup plan you hope you never use. It is insulation from the kind of moment where you have no choice but to ask for help, and asking for help has not always felt safe. Savings become emotionally quieter than spending, not because spending is wrong, but because spending reduces the buffer. And the buffer is not financial, it is psychological. It is the feeling of being able to breathe without permission. Your brain treats money less like currency and more like distance from disaster. You are not chasing a number. You are chasing the feeling of not being cornered. And that feeling, the feeling of having room to move, is worth more to you than almost anything money can actually buy. Now we reach the part that will probably feel the most uncomfortably true. When life starts to feel unpredictable, when things outside of you stop making sense, people often reach for the smallest controllable systems they can find. And money is deeply controllable. You can track it, optimize it, reduce waste, catch every unnecessary charge, know exactly where every dollar went and why and whether it was worth it. There is a particular kind of calm that comes from that, not because the numbers themselves are that meaningful, but because certainty is emotionally addictive when everything else feels unstable. When you spend 3 days quietly thinking through whether to buy something, turning it over, calculating, weighing, that process is not irrationality. It is ritual. It is a way of making one corner of life feel considered and deliberate, in a world where so much just happens to you. Tiny financial victories create the feeling that life is manageable. Catching a subscription You forgot about feels like winning something. Cooking instead of ordering feels like a quiet act of agency. Finding the better price feels like proof that you are paying attention, that you are not the kind of person who gets caught off guard. But here is the insight underneath all of it. You were not buying cheap products. You were buying reassurance. You were buying the feeling that you are someone who notices, someone who is prepared, someone who will not be blindsided. And the more chaotic life felt, the more things slipped outside your influence, the more emotionally heavy even small spending decisions became. Because they were carrying something extra. They were carrying the weight of needing to prove that something is still under your control. This is the part that might be the hardest to sit with. Frugality, when it becomes deeply emotional, can quietly turn life into a permanent rehearsal. You are always preparing for the version of life where something goes wrong. You are running the scenarios, calculating the buffers, making sure the escape routes are still there. But the emergency never quite arrives, and so you keep preparing. You earn more, but it does not change the feeling much. You have more than enough, but your behavior does not update to reflect that. You still feel the same low hum of financial alertness, the same need to check, to calculate, to hold back. You struggle to enjoy money even after earning it. You postpone things. Not forever, just not yet. The vacation can wait. The experience can wait. You will feel more comfortable spending when something, you are not sure what, when it feels more certain, when the timing feels right. And when you do spend on a trip, on something meaningful, there is often a quiet anxiety underneath the enjoyment. A mental accounting running in the background that you did not ask for and cannot quite switch off. You feel something strange when people around you spend freely. It is not envy. It is something closer to a foreign language. You watch them and think, how are they not afraid? But here is the painful part. You may have already built the safety you were looking for. The accounts are there, the buffer exists, the plan worked. But psychologically, you are still living as if collapse is one bad month away. You built safety so carefully that sometimes you forgot to live inside it. Your future self became so important that your present self got smaller and smaller, always waiting, always holding back just a little more. You prepared for disaster so long that peace started feeling irresponsible. And quietly, without meaning to, the constant financial caution can create distance from people. Every invitation carries a small calculation. Every group trip is a spreadsheet in your head before it is an experience. Every moment of spending alongside others requires more internal processing than it probably should. It does not make you cold, it makes you tired. And a little bit lonely in a way that is hard to explain. Your relationship with money did not come from nowhere. At some point, the caution made perfect sense. The hyper-awareness was not a flaw, it was an adaptation. The backup plans, the emergency exits, the need to never be caught without options. All of it was a rational response to something that felt genuinely unstable. You built a system to survive uncertainty, and it worked. That is worth acknowledging without irony, without reducing it. But here is the quiet thing that system never learned how to do. It never learned to stop. Because systems built for survival do not automatically know when the threat has passed. They keep running. They keep scanning. They keep preparing because preparation once meant protection, and the nervous system does not easily forget that. So the work, if there is any, is not about spending more money. It is about allowing yourself to feel the safety you already built. Safety is not only something you store, it is also something you allow yourself to feel. You do not need to earn the right to exhale one more time. You do not need one more buffer, one more backup, one more layer of preparation before life gets to actually begin. Being careful kept you emotionally alive through something real. But life cannot become only preparation, not forever, not indefinitely. Your bank account may already know something your mind still struggles to believe. You survived. And the most radical thing you could do now, the thing that might feel the most foreign, the most uncomfortable, the most irresponsible, is to let that be enough. If this made you feel deeply uncomfortable about your own relationship with money, good. That means something important just clicked. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of psychological excavation work.